Do you guys like classic comic books like these? The X-Men, Silver Surfer, Iron Man, Classic Hulk, old school action comics, classic Amazing Spider-Man, and Detective Comics? Then welcome to Comic Book Corner Classic with your host, Spider Slayer. Hey guys, welcome back to Comic Book Corner Classic. That's right guys, the channel where we review all old school comic classics. That's right. Today's comic book review, we're going back, way back to 1969. We're going back to Iron Man issue number 20. That's right guys. Back in the day, this book was only 15 cents. Nowadays, this book is worth quite a bit of money. I didn't check the actual price if it is a mint condition, but it is a very decent amount money book, maybe about $80 or something like that. I gotta check again though. I totally forgot to check before I went. But again, the book was made in 1969. This copy I've had for quite a while now, and I must say that it is in great condition. I should actually have it professionally graded to see what the actual condition is of this book. This issue is about Iron Man being the slave of Lucifer. Plot, I must say, back in the 60s was very, very weak, but you know, you gotta look at times. Things were different back then. But this book was interesting. I kind of laughed. I liked the cover. The editor of this book was Stan Lee. The writer is Archie Goodwin, and the artist is George Tuska. But yeah, this book is in very great shape. There's no tears, very, very little wrinkles in it. It's just a nice book to look at. Pages are white on the inside, and it might be a little deceiving because my camera sucks, so pardon that. But this book, the plot in it here was Iron Man, you know, basically saving the day against this reactor, and we have this police officer here who, his name is Charlie Gray, and he's holding the people back. And in this issue we see that there are he's very jealous because Iron Man saves the day and he gets all the attention and everyone's cheering for him and they're like, yay Iron Man, we love you Iron Man. And he's just tired of being like a second fiddle. He's a police officer, he's in a uniform, no one pays attention to him. They all pay attention to Tony Stark, they all pay attention to Iron Man, and Charlie's all pissed off. He's like driving home, and he comes home and he slams the door, and his wife Wilma, which is hysterical, she's like, hi darling, how do things go? And he's like, I'm tired of Tony Stark, I'm tired of Iron Man. He's like, you know, I used to be somebody, I used to be, you know, a football player, and you know, he's all pissed off. He's in this horrible attitude. He takes it out on the kids, you know, and Wilma's just like, what are you doing taking it out on the children? He gets all mad because he really lives his photo days as a football player. He punches the frame and he slams the door. And Wilma's like, Charlie! And he goes out. And as the issue goes along, he wants power. He wants to be somebody. You know, just like all of us in the world, we want to be represented, we want to be known, we want to have something out there to let us know. So when you look at the actual, I guess, the plot and the real, you know, story to everything is that we all look for something and we just can't be greedy. So Charlie comes across, eventually gets drawn to Lucifer here, and we can see him here that he is trying to get back in this dimension to conquer Earth. And after some persuasion, Charlie's like, yeah, okay, I'll do it, because he feels this power. He lusts for this power that he wants. And Lucifer sits there and says, yes, you can do it. You can feel the power. If you get Iron Man over here, he's like, we can take care of him, and he can open the gates and this and that. And, as time goes on, he's transforming him into being himself, for a little while he's got the power to go in between both worlds. And we see that Charlie Gray is transformed into Lucifer, and Lucifer's like in his head in the background here. So Lucifer's going after Iron Man. He goes and he tries to find him, and he's going around. He's starting all these problems with the cops, and the cops are like, "Hey man, it's not Halloween. We're gonna have to shoot you if you do all these bad things. God, we can't curse in these books. It's the '60s." And Wilma was concerned that he was going to go after Tony Stark and do something wrong. And just like that, it's just funny how Wilma here just goes out and she sees this man in this cape and this mask, and she knows who it is. Hey, it's Charlie. I know his voice. I thought that was pretty funny. So Lucifer's like in his head, telling him what to do, not to talk to people, just stay away, get out of distractions. So Wilma takes the car, and she basically wants to warn Tony and Iron Man or whatever, and she breaks through the security fence through Stark Industries, and she tries to tell Tony what's going on. She's like, my husband's out there, he's being Lucifer, he's going to take over the world, and blah, blah, blah. And she keeps talking, and Tony's like, this is no officer can actually do this. It sounds like a job for Iron Man. I'm always getting in this armor. He's like, I fixed my heart. Why do I need to go back in this armor? Because in this day and age, Tony's always very concerned about going back in this armor, because he feels that the armor's going to kill him by doing all these crazy battles, or his heart's going to fail. So he's very concerned about his heart and his condition at the time. So there's a nice battle going on between Lucifer or Charlie Gray and Iron Man. You can see, the panels here. They're very well drawn. A lot of detail here for these early issues. And I love the battle that took place. Lucifer is talking in Charlie Gray's ear and telling him, destroy Iron Man, bring him here, lure him here, because we're running out of power. And the next thing we see is that as Lucifer or Charlie Gray actually wins the battle, he runs into his wife. She comes out of nowhere, Wilma, and she goes, you're so concerned about this petty power, and she's like, you're willing to lose the things that you do have, which is a wife that loves you and the kids that want to be with you. And she's like, is it all worth it for this power? And he comes to his senses, and Charlie's like, my wife is right. I'm not going to see my kids. I'm not going to have my wife. What's going to go on? So he drops Iron Man, and all of a sudden Lucifer loses the power between the two dimensions, and all of a sudden he comes back to normal, and Wilma just says, it's great to have you back. And Iron Man at the end is just like, my heart's cured. Must I really go on as the Invincible Iron Man? And that is the end of the issue of Iron Man, or the Invincible Iron Man, issue number 20. That's right, guys. So, no heavy hitters, no main super duper villains in this particular issue. But I did want to share with you my oldest issue of the Invincible Iron Man. I thought it was a fun read. It's funny to read these books in the '60s, and overall it was good art for back then, and story. This day and age it doesn't really hold up you know, that well, but you got to understand the 60s, it was a totally different time. But I'm glad I could share issue number 20 with you guys. Tell me what you think of this issue, and what cool Iron Man issues you might have. So, guys, thanks for watching Comic Book Corner Classic, and this is Spider Slayer signing off, and until the next comic book review, thanks for watching, guys.